Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and where you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I am currently drinking my favorite of the favorites, Strawberry Sunkiss. Yes. You should sponsor us because I drink you enough. But, they don't and they won't. So it's okay. But if I was drinking anything else, if I was drinking something cute and hot or something like that, and I wasn't stalling looking for something, but I will be using my cup mug.
Ooh.
Woohoo. Panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Chick, 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 boop, boop, boop. Hey. And you can join the party and get your cup mug or any of our cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. And the link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the U.S. So there are no excuses. Survivor fans all over, I'm looking at you. Get your cup merch, period.
I'm David Healy, and I'm not used to doing an intro for Survivor. But I am the Survivor superfan, and I usually show an autograph. I don't have autographs on me right now. So what else could I do? What else? I will tell you a Survivor who's in my phone book.
Ooh.
Whose phone number do I have that's from Survivor? How about Judd Fabio Birza? I have his phone number. I shouldn't show it.
Don't show it.
Yes. That's what I did as a substitution because I forgot to show an autograph. Maybe that's what I'll do all season is talk about the different Survivor phone numbers I have. That seems kind of pretentious, though. Huh?
I'm about to say that's a flex.
I know it is a flex. But I'm just drinking water.
Word.
Should I call him?
No.
Okay, I won't.
You should not. But cool. That threw me off. But yeah, we're here to talk about Survivor, the premiere episode, Survivor 46. Yay! It's here. It's done. We saw it. We watched it. And it was good. It was actually really good. It was a good opening. A lot of stuff happened that we'll talk about. But before we get into it, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button while you're here. We appreciate you doing all of the things that we appreciate. Hit the subscribe button. Follow the notification bell so you'll know when we drop all of our videos because our videos are going. We're getting more and more videos going out almost every single day about almost everything reality TV. We got reality TV is heating up right now. We got stuff coming. We got new stuff heading out. So we got a lot for you. So be sure to subscribe and do all the things. If you're a fan of drag or drag race of any kind, go to our main channel at the Cup Pop where we put out content almost all the time about almost all things drag related things. And while you're there, join our membership page. Do that. And you can get awesome exclusive content, not just from that channel, but from this channel. We're going to do exclusive TV things as well. So go over there, hit the membership channel, and it's $5 a month. You get some very exclusive stuff that will not come out on the general public. The general public will never see it. It's just for you members. You can do it on there, or you can join our Patreon as well. Same content, just a different app if you want to do Patreon instead. And we'll put that link out. The link is in the description below also for the Patreon as well. And if you're a fan of Eurovision Song Contest where you are like, what is this new song coming out and how are they reacting to it. We got people over there doing all of that. Go to the Cup ESC, subscribe to that channel. Get all the what's haps on Eurovision Song Contest. It's heating up over there because apparently all the songs got to be out by the 16th of this month. And so people are rushing to the end to put their songs out. So they got a lot of content coming out over there as well. So check all of that out. Do all of those things. And yeah, that's it. We appreciate you. Oh, and if you want to do a super thanks, go to the main channel, hit the super thanks button. We appreciate you because anything you give to us will go right back into this podcast to continue to make it better and greater for you. That is that. So it's time to talk Survivor.
I want to challenge you. You're going to hate this. You're going to hate this.
Oh.
I want you to pull a Tevin. Can you describe to me what Survivor is?
Survivor is grit. Survivor is heart. Survivor is going out, proving who you are that you never thought you could be. Survivor is moving way past your comfort zone and showing yourself who you can be if you push yourself to do something. Survivor is not easy. Survivor is always going to be hard, but the light at the end of the tunnel when you come out of it and you have overcome some demons and overcome some things that you never thought you would, you will feel the best you've ever felt. And you can look in that mirror and say, I did it. I am a survivor.
Ooh, I think we found our opening monologue for season 47.
Work. I'm not going out there to do it, but I'll say it.
You'll send it in.
I'll send it in.
I'll record it and email it to you.
But I'm not doing Survivor. No.
What did you think of Tevin's little monologue?
Oh, I loved it. And here's the thing. At first, I didn't know who it was. I was like, who's doing this? Who's talking? Who is it? This isn't Jeff. Who's doing it? And the more he talked, I was like, is this a player? Okay. Because what he was saying sounded like somebody who's playing the game or who's getting ready to play the game. I'm like, is it a player? Who? What is it? And then at the end, when they showed Tevin, and he was like, I was like, yes! I was like, work, Tevin. You better be the star of the episode. You better. Mm-hmm. Love it. I loved it. What did you think? I know you had to love it.
Yeah, I loved it too. So I thought it was interesting to do that. Like, because a year ago we saw Carolyn start off the episode with just kind of her nervous energy. And this is like on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. You've got somebody who's got it completely together, who's so like articulate in describing the game perfectly. And I'm like, this is beautiful. Like, I'm really happy they did that. Do you know who his speaking voice kind of reminds me of? I could listen to him like read a book. I get like a Maya Angelou vibe from how he speaks sometimes. Like, it's the same kind of timbre and delivery. And I was like, okay, you better work, Tevin. He's one of my favorites for sure.
I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely an actor. He definitely has that composure and that articulation, like you said, of an actor, someone who has studied, someone who has to memorize some things and learn something and portray a character. Like, he has that. And I loved it. I was very much intrigued. The minute he continued to go on, I was just like moving closer to the screen, like, oh, that's almost encouraging. Like, if I ever was wanting to play Survivor, it'll be that moment where I'm like, I'm going to fill out that application. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to play Survivor because that's me. I can do this. I never wanted to play Survivor, so that was not that person to do it. But I was very much like, okay, all right, Tevin. I loved it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we get a bunch of like good intros from different players after that. Like the ones that stood out to me the most, I think, were Banu talking about how like as soon as he became a citizen, he applied for Survivor that day.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then we saw Tiffany talking about how she's a hustler because of her work in the art field.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there were a few others. Oh yeah, Charlie talking about being a Swiftie right after Hunter was like, right after Hunter's like,
they talk about Taylor Swift. I wouldn't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And then switch to Charlie. I have Taylor Swift socks. I have Taylor Swift the Eras tour stuff. I was like, I hope you and Hunter don't be on the same team ever. Because Hunter gonna be like, no, I don't know nothing about Taylor Swift. I don't know. No. And I was like, relatable, Hunter. Relatable. I can relate to you on so many levels in that.
Look, we're Hunter and Logan is Charlie.
Yes. But I was just like, I like one song from her, I guess.
I noticed they dropped like a few song names throughout the episode, and I wondered if that was on purpose. I know one person said something about Wildest Dreams, and there was somebody else who mentioned a song title, but I can't remember what it was. I'm like, are they doing this on purpose?
They're trying to get Taylor to be a Survivor fan. They want Taylor to watch Survivor so she can tell all the Swifties to watch Survivor. That girl got influence. She got influence. So that's what they're trying to do. They're like, if Taylor Swift says something about Survivor, the Swifties will watch Survivor. Who knows? But yeah, I think for me, I liked it was Maria's story. Listening to her story and about her taking care of kids and all that. I was like, okay. And then who else's story did I kind of? Hunter was the other one where I was like, okay. I see him. And Hunter is very much cuter on TV than the picture. I was like, okay.
Yep, I knew he would be.
You said it, but yeah, he's cuter on TV. I was like, okay, Hunter, I see. I was like, look at the science teachers, looking so cute. All right, word. But we get to the beach. Everybody is super excited to see Jeff Probst. And when Jeff is there and he starts saying, welcome to Survivor 46, you would think they were at a Taylor Swift concert because they were like, losing their mind. Soda, especially.
Just like there were a few different times throughout him talking that she would just randomly go, I'm like, girl, is that a tick?
No, it's just the excitement. She was so built up. She was just like, I like to call that a Baptist fit. She was giving up moments of, wow, I'm so excited. And I love that for her. But she was excited. Everybody was excited. And they were getting ready he welcomed the Survivor like he always does. Tell them they got to get their stuff, just be prepared because Survivor is not easy. Nothing is handed to you in this game. And we start off right now with this challenge because there's nothing handed to you in this.
True. And he also does something that he's never done before. He warns everybody that at least one of you out there cannot win this game, no matter who you go to the end with. And I thought that was interesting. And I don't even know if I agree.
I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean somebody, they can't win no matter who they go to the end with? Like, what? Well, I mean, I guess.
I think if you simulate a Survivor season like a million times with the same cast, everybody's winning it at least once.
Yeah, but what is it, 18 people? 17 of them ain't gonna win. True. I guess. But that one person who wins could be like, see, Jeff, I told you I can win no matter who I came to the end with. I don't know. I found that to be very odd, that statement. I was like, what do you mean, Jeff? Is it like a thing? Is it a twist or something that somebody just cannot win this game?
I think it's just the fact that we've had so many people, like especially lately, just get 0 votes at the end. I guess that's the evidence that some people just are never going to win. But I'm like, maybe they would have won in a different circumstance with different people. So it's really hard to say. Like that's not something I would just boldly say.
I was weird.
Like as a matter of fact, you know?
Yeah. I found out, I was like, okay, sure. But they get ready for this challenge. And they have to run and crawl under these nets and go get some heavy puzzle pieces and bring them back. And then once all the pieces are together, they got to put them together. Mm-hmm. And first try wins, gets flint. And then they'll get all their materials back at camp, a pot, machete, and flint. That's it. Because nothing on Survivor is free. You got to work for everything. And that was it.
In second place,
they got to choose if they're going to do sweat or savvy. Mm-hmm. I was like, that ain't no second place prize. You could at least say second place you get just the flint. You don't get a pot and a machete. I don't know. Like, I don't want to have to pick between sweat or savvy. No, thank you. Mm-hmm. But that was what it was.
Yeah, and I thought it was an interesting challenge. So I typically tune out of challenges, but I was kind of intrigued by this, even though it's very standard. Mm-hmm. But like one of the first things I noticed was Hunter was killing it. Mm-hmm. He was so fast to get to that sand part that they had to crawl under.
The mud part, yeah.
Yeah, well, he got under it, and then he told Venus, he's like, keep digging this hole bigger, I guess in anticipation for other people and himself returning. So he went and got a puzzle piece, brought it back, and then raced back a second time so he could help her with the puzzle piece. And we're like, that was a good idea.
That was cute. Mm-hmm. It was cute. I was like, okay, work. Hunter, like, look, he's a thinking man. Mm-hmm. I love that. But the Nami tribe surprised me very much because preseason, I'm gonna be honest, that was my favorite tribe. Nami tribe preseason is my favorite tribe. And I was like, look, protect them with everything they have. I never want
a prayer circle for them.
We did. We did a whole circle for them because I was like, I don't want them to ever have to go to tribal. And if they keep performing the way they performing, I think our prayers have been answered. Mm-hmm. Because they were killing it. They were killing this whole entire thing. They were in first place, never behind this entire time. And they stayed in first place the whole time. And they finished in first place. And it was not even close. They literally smoked them.
And if I'm being honest, they were the tribe I expected to struggle the most because, like, if you look at them, it's like a bunch of small people, a bunch of people that aren't in the like best survivor shape, you know, except for Hunter. Like, it feels like it's Hunter and then a bunch of normal people, you know. So I was like, but I love these normal people and I want them to thrive. And they're thriving. But you know who else is thriving, especially in this challenge?
Who's that?
Somebody I underestimated. I severely underestimated this person. It was Maria. When she was running with that whole big block on her back, meanwhile, like almost every other girl was struggling to carry a block by themselves. I was like, come on, you're the oldest woman there by a lot. Mm-hmm. And you are killing it by just bodying this puzzle piece.
She's super mom. She was like, this is my mom shrimp coming in, which is a thing, a real thing. Because if you've seen a mother try to pick up something when their child is in danger and they pick up something super heavy, like, people like, oh, where'd that come from? Mm-hmm. Mom strength.
Well, she's a mother like no other.
No other, honey. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It was, they ate, but Nami came in first place. And so we were trying to see who's going to come in second place. And it was actually not even close to
Despite some cheating on the puzzle.
Right, because going around looking. I mean, is that cheating?
Nah. I mean, it's sanctioned cheating, if that's a thing. Like it's fair cheating. Is that an oxymoron?
I guess so. I don't know. But the winners of this one was Nami, of course, but came in second place was Siga as well. I forgot to pull up the cast graphic, which I was going to do. Oh, I'll see if it's in here.
Mm-hmm. Well, so Siga is now faced with the choice. Do we want to do the sweat or the savvy when it gets back to camp? And honestly, like I am more of a puzzle person, but just looking at these challenges in the past, there's no room for error with the savvy. No room for error at all. With sweat, I think generally, as long as you can work through it, you'll get it done. Right. So me, even being more of a puzzle guy, I think I would have picked sweat here, especially because I'd be like, yeah, other people are going to do this because they'll see I have scrawny arms.
Right. Absolutely. I'm like, they're not going to ask me to do it, but somebody will do it. So as long as it's not me.
Is that what you would have picked too?
Oh, I would have picked sweat and be like, let's let our big guys handle it. I'm not going to.
Well, I think it's Ben that says, hey, well, let's do savvy. And so everybody quickly agrees. Charlie lets everybody know that they're going to do savvy, which means Yanu is going to be doing sweat.
Right. So now, since they picked savvy, that means Yanu has sweat. And we go to Yanu, and they have to get water and run it up the beach and fill up these huge jugs with water. So they like Q and Jelinski agreed to do it, and they take off.
Who is the third guy on the tribe? Oh, Banu.
Yeah, Banu.
You have the tribes?
I do have the tribes.
Okay.
We'll pull them up. And I do have the tribes.
Yes, it was Banu.
Yes.
I mean, Q and Jelinski make sense. They seemed confident.
They thought they would. Q was like, yes, let's go do it. And they go to the water. They scoop up their first pail of water to find out that there's holes in the bucket.
They didn't see the holes.
They didn't see the holes, apparently. Didn't see it at all. They didn't see it. And they were like, oh, Jeff, what are you doing to us? So they're like, this is going to be tough. So they just start going. And the women in the tribe with Banu, they are like, oh, yo, let's go start looking for stuff. And let's go start. Banu is super excited about everything. He's like, oh, look, a coconut. We can't lose this. Coconut, he grabs it. He's like, I'm excited. He finds a mango. It's like, mango.
I love him.
I'm
going to say that about a lot of these people, honestly.
Yes, Banu was so sweet. And so he was like talking about how, of course, again, how he applied for Survivor the day he became an American citizen and how he's an American citizen. He's so excited. He was born in India. He's excited to be a citizen. He's here. He's like, America's done so much for me, and this is so great. And now I'm on Survivor. And I think Banu's going to be somebody who's giving us some very good confessionals. I can't wait to see Banu's confessionals because he's so excited about everything.
Yeah, he's a great narrator so far. Like, he's definitely been one of the standouts for me in confessionals, and I think he's tied for the most confessionals of the season so far.
Thus far, I think so.
I think he had 9, and so did Tiffany.
Yeah, but I think Jelinski might have more.
He had several.
Yeah,
he had exactly several, and so did Tevin. Tevin had several as well, aka
7.
Yes.
He had 7 of them? Oh, interesting. Because that's what several means. 7.
I'm gonna have so much fun with that. Like my Twitter has been so much several since this episode. Let's get into that part because this kind of happens around here.
I mean, but David, I just need you to get that video that sound bite
Oh
when he's
yes.
talking to Jeff about this. I need that in my life.
Can do.
Oh, I need that.
But yeah, I want to talk about this sweat
Yeah.
challenge because we see the guys, they flip over the hourglass. They're walking back and forth, like we said. But I think they quickly realize, wow, this is a lot harder than it seems. That first bucket that Q poured in was drops, like this much water, maybe.
Yeah. I have a big bucket.
Yeah. And I've heard Jelinski talk about how he wasn't wearing shoes, and so he kept stepping on coral. And so that was like messing up his feet, and that made it even more difficult. But there's one of two things. Either they were set up to fail this challenge, which I think is possible. Jeff has said it on his podcast that they're never going to set people up to fail. I don't know. This seemed extremely difficult. Two very huge buckets. So either they were set up to fail, which I'm open to that, or they just really had a very poor strategy for how to do this. And I think it maybe it could be both. They definitely had a poor strategy because you saw them, they would be walking and it was just like there were some attempts to cover up the holes. I think they could have made better attempts. In fact, I think
they could have. You took the shirt off and tied the shirt around.
They probably weren't allowed to do that. My guess, because that would make sense. That would be too obvious. I thought they should work as a team on one bucket. Like take one bucket, you both plug up holes because you're losing over half of the water anyways. I kept seeing how much they were pouring in, and it was not that much, even when they did start covering the holes. So I really think they should have done some teamwork here, and maybe they would have had a fighting chance, but I don't know.
I think they could have had both buckets and like one person take both buckets, go and keep doing it as much as they need to until they're tired. Then when they get tired, pass it off, let them rest, let the other person go with both buckets. So if once you pour it in, the water goes into the other bucket, so you're not losing water. It's just going into the other bucket. And you just get both and could just pour both buckets in.
Ooh, I wonder if they could have done that.
I think they should have done that. Like keep one bucket empty, you just scoop up and you got another bucket under it. You won't lose water, just go into the next bucket.
You know, I think this was sweat, but I think it was also savvy, to be honest.
Very much so.
Because you have to play smarter, not harder. They weren't even halfway done.
No.
When it comes up, like, I don't think we're going to do this. And if I'm being real, the way they showed what their bucket looked like, and they were almost halfway done with the time, I think it was maybe 10% full. They were not going to finish this.
Jelinski was like, nah, we done. We're not going to finish it. And Q was like, you what? We quitting? You think? He was like, it's never going to happen. Never going to happen. We just go, yeah, we're done. We're done. He was like, if you think, yeah. And he took that hourglass and chucked it. It was like 2 or 3 more hours in that hourglass. And he chucked it. And I don't know about you, David, but all I was thinking about was, who gonna pick up all this glass on the beach?
Exactly.
I was like, people gonna cut themselves on this beach.
I know. Honestly, like, I was not upset with the decision to quit the challenge because I think maybe it was smart at that point. You already had lost. But I was very taken aback by that reaction. Like, I don't know if that was anger. I don't know if he was doing that for fun, but throwing that and breaking it, like, I didn't like that.
I was like, whoa, that is a bunch of glass. And anybody who's walking in the morning without knowing you did, they can cut their feet up. I hope somebody couldn't clean that glass up.
I'm sure production had to go clean it up.
Somebody had to, because that was crazy. That was crazy. Like,
what if that comes back to, like, what if somebody has to, like, get stitches later on in the season from that?
Oh,
can you imagine?
imagine? Stop. Okay. But we see they fail at the sweat challenge, and then we see at the savvy challenge back at the Sega camp, they weren't doing that much better over at that either. They was just it was Ben and Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
Ben and Charlie, and they just was not getting it. I don't the how they were trying to come up with stuff was just all off. I would say thank you, Survivor, for showing me what the letters meant, because I would have never got it the way they were marking all over that board. I was like,
well, that's a point though, is so they were marking off all of the numbers that they saw spelled out, like 3, they would mark that out. So once they marked out all of the letters, it left behind some other letters, and those were the letters you were supposed to be looking at. I don't think I would have figured that out.
Yeah, me either. I absolutely would have never figured that out.
So this is another time where I'm like, okay, so you're saying you didn't set them up to fail, but we've seen a lot of success with Sweat and Savvy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not be surprised if they're like, we can't make it so easy. We got to make it very hard. We got to make it barely possible.
I mean, we did hear Jeff say in another interview that people were saying that he was getting too soft in his old age, and he needed to make himself meaner again. So he leaning into that, and I was like, okay, Jeff. So we get some mean Jeff. We get some impossible task. Got it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
But I do want to say, like, watching Ben and Charlie interact in this,
mm-hmm.
I like them both. And I really like Ben. Like, there's something about his personality. He's so wild and out there and very different from me. But he has this, like, weird charm to him that's working on me. And I think it's working on his tribe. Do you like them?
Ben is interesting to me. I'm still trying to feel Ben out, right? Because sometimes, like when he was doing the challenge, he was annoying me a little bit. But once he got back in camp with everybody else, I started to like feel him. I'm like, okay, his vibe is all right. So I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about Ben. Ben is very much in the middle, very much indifferent for me at this moment. But I think he'll make his mark on me eventually, and I'm sure it's leaning more of the upswing than down. I like him more than I like somebody else in this tribe. Which I'm like, ooh, interesting. But yeah. So we go to let's go back to the Nami tribe, because they chilling. They won, they got their stuff, they don't gotta do no sweat, no savvy. They are getting to know each other. They're building their shelter. They're trying to get things together. And we get Hunter is feeling a little not sure about how he fits in with this tribe, because Soda is this huge personality, and she's this camp counselor who knows all camp songs, and she is ready to sing them all. And her and Tevin had this moment where I was like, work.
I love it. She would sing a line, he would sing it back, and then she sang one line, and he's like, I didn't catch that one. So she had to sing it again.
It was so good. I loved it. I was like, they're so cute and funny to me. And then we have Hunter standing back there like, I too was a camp counselor, and I do, I enjoy moments where we can bonding times. But the one thing I hated the most about camp was the camp songs. And I don't want to sing them. And she's singing them. And I was like, oh no, Hunter, don't get mad and hate Soda because she's singing camp songs and you don't like them. I want you all to work together. I don't want y'all to be enemies. And so he's like, we went through the Hunter story about how he's just like, I'm just not very outgoing. I'm very introverted, and it's hard for me to have these social connections with people. He said, but I want to do that. He said, I want to have these connections with people, and I want to be able to play with them. And he was like, so what does he do? The smartest thing he could do. he goes and gets Tevin, and he brings Tevin over. He's like, yeah, I would love to work with you. I just feel like we're so different, but you're so outgoing. I'm so quiet. I feel like we can help each other. You can bring me, he said, you can teach me how to sing. And he's like, yeah. And Tevin is like, I like this guy. I think he's cool. I can work with him. And he's like, and the connection that him and Soda have. So maybe he could bring that bridge together where more, they can work together. And then Soda has a connection with Venus, who I was like, yes, those are the 4 people that I wanted to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Need them to work together. And it's looking like it might happen. And I was like, yes. And so Tevin is very open to working with Hunter. And then he goes and tells Soda, Hunter seems cool. And she's like, yeah, I like Hunter. He seems like a cool person. That'll work. And then we get them at this isn't in chronological order, but we get them in the water. And they're all cleaning up the mud or whatever. And Liz starts going on about how she has 4 businesses.
She did, but she sold 2 of them.
She sold 2 of them now. She sold 2. So now she has 2 businesses and she sold 2. And yeah, and Tevin is like, interesting. I mean, she's just letting us know she done sold 2 businesses, got 2 more businesses, and why is she here?
Right.
Because baby, I'm here for the money. So if she's here for the experience, welcome to Fiji. Here's your experience. You can go. That's how I saw it. He didn't say that. That's how I saw it. But yeah, so Tevin is kind of peeping Liz's game. It's kind of like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I'll be honest. I'm really loving the dynamics that we're getting here on this tribe. Like, I did get nervous when we saw Hunter kind of like making the faces as Soda was singing. But also, like, I can relate because I used to be a camp counselor. I would do like 6 different camps during a summer, and like I would get connected to all these kids or like teenagers, and then have a new group the next week. So they're my people. My fellow camp counselors.
I was a camp counselor as well.
Oh, nice. That's why we get along.
Absolutely.
Yes. But the funniest part to me was we just heard him talking about how he doesn't like the singing and the chants and whatever. And then it showed him like working to get a coconut open and everybody's going, let's go, Hunter, let's go. And his face is just like, as he's trying to open this coconut, you could tell he's like not living for it. But I'm so happy that this group. So I think that the core is Tevin, Hunter, Soda.
Yes.
And then Venus seems to be kind of on the outside there, but we've already got kind of two targets. And they're definitely the 2 targets I would prefer if this tribe was going to lose. So hopefully it stays this way.
Because we do get a moment later on on this tribe where
let's just talk about it.
Yeah, I'm just going because I feel like we should just jump and do just tribes, how each thing, because that's a lot. So, what's
Randon?
Okay,
Brandon without a B.
Yeah, Randon was kind of like trying to figure out. He saw and caught Venus out there looking for an idol.
I think we should rewind slightly. I'm so sorry. But the catalyst here is we see a conversation where Liz and Tevin are talking to Venus, and Tevin's like, when I saw you before the game started, I called you Princess. And Liz is like, oh my God, I called her Princess too. I called her Princess USA, but you're Canadian, so you're Princess Canada. And immediately Venus is like, that is not what I want to be called. I am not a princess. And Tevin's like, okay, princess is a good thing though. Like, don't let anybody tell you being a princess is bad. And I did not take it to mean anything negative from either of them. Like, there's different ways you can call somebody princess. I took it as like, you're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
You look like a beautiful princess. You look like Jasmine.
Right, because that's literally what I said. I was like, oh, she looks like Jasmine.
But she got a little defensive, and I'm like, chill. It's okay, chill. But she's like, if people are going to put me into this box and whatever, then I need to play hard. I need to go find an idol. And so she goes off looking for an idol. And in doing so, Brandon, now I'll let you continue.
Thank you for, because
context.
Context. But Brandon sees her and he's like, oh, I see what she's doing.
But she tells him.
And then she tells him because she runs into him and he sees her and she was like, yeah, I'm just looking for an idol. You should look for one too.
Yeah, she's like, you should look for idol. That's what I'm doing. So she wasn't even being sneaky here.
She was being sneaky. The only reason she told him is because he called her.
But she wasn't denying it. He acted like in confessional. He's like, no, I know what you were doing. Yeah, that's because she told you.
It's like, absolutely, you knew what she was doing. She kind of told you what she was doing. But yeah,
he gets some tattletale-itis.
He really does, because he goes and runs right to Soda and was like, she out there looking for idols. She is sneaky. I don't know. We should trust that. I don't know. And I'm like, he being honest, but look what his honesty got him. Because Soda was like, oh, okay, for real, streets. Okay. He leaves. She's like, I don't trust him. My Sodar is going off. My Sodar is happening. Is boop, 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 and I don't trust him. And so now he might have to go if something happened. He might. And I was like, you see what tattling get you? You see what tattling get you? You could have said that. You could have said that, put it in your back pocket. But no, you've been told.
And this is where I'm at home, and she's about to go tell Venus, and I do the Oprah shift here because I'm like, yes.
She goes tell Venus, and Venus is like, oh, because he calls her Parvati. He said, I know a Parvati when I see a Parvati. And Venus is like, how dare he? I mean, I know Parvati. She said, Parvati's amazing and she's beautiful and she won. So that's a compliment. But how dare he be right about me being sneaky? Like, how dare he tell her and he's right about me because I am being sneaky, but how dare he say something? Like,
that might have been my favorite line of the episode when she said, how dare he correctly assume I'm sneaky?
Because I am, but he cannot correctly assume that I am. Which I loved. I loved that moment. I was like, yes, Venus. And so she was like, and Soda came and told me so. I see that. I'm like,
I love that Sodar.
I was like, Sodar, those are your people. Boop, 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 boop. Leave them other two alone. Them your people. That's your form. Work. But yeah.
It's like a combination of radar and sonar. I wonder which one she's leaning more into with that. Which do you think?
You know what, David? What? I think she's just doing her name with a radar.
I know. So you think it's more radar than sonar?
Yes. Because
just take out the N and put the D, and you got sonar.
So that's why she says a Sodar.
I'm gonna have to ask her. Were you more thinking radar or sonar?
I'm pretty sure it was radar because radar is when you spot something.
You can spot things underwater with sonar.
But isn't sonar more about sounds?
It is, but you still detect things under the water with the sounds. Like you can see on a screen, like where things are located.
Yes.
So they're both very similar. Radar, sonar.
Now you're going to make us start thinking. I wonder if she even thought about that before.
Maybe she was like, I need both. They're both.
We'll see what her answer is.
I'm literally going to tweet her. In fact, I'm going to tweet her right now.
Sure you are.
Continue.
I'm sure you are. I can't wait. And look, tag the cup and we'll clip this and send it to him. Like, would you just want to know? Look, what's the time? 44-ish?
44.
Okay. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to clip it and I'm going to send it to her. 44. I'll start at 44. Sodar. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. So then let's move over to the. Do we need to go to either other tribes or do we go to the challenge? What do you think?
Let's go to the challenge and we'll catch up if we need to.
Okay. Well, let's go to the challenge because the challenge happens. They all go to meet Jeff. And they're like, hey, Jeff. Hey. And they reveal what I think are beautiful immunity idols. I think these are beautiful immunity idols. I was like, oh, I like these immunity idols. Did you like the immunity idols?
I didn't pay attention to them.
Oh.
So I don't know what they looked like, but I'm going to trust you that they were beautiful.
I like them. I like them. But the immunity idols were revealed and everybody's like, yay. And so the challenge is called Lizard King. And the castaways must race up a ramp and untie a 15-foot, 500-pound dummy gecko. And then they have to work together to pull it down, up another ramp, up and over a wall, through a tunnel of ropes, and finally up a ramp to the finish platform. And then once the gecko is clipped in, 2 members will work to solve a jigsaw puzzle. And the first 2 tribes to solve their puzzle will win immunity. And the losing tribe must forfeit their flint, though they can win it back if they win the next immunity challenge. Yo, this is crazy. First of all, shout out to the prop department for Survivor for making 500-pound geckos. Like, what? What were you thinking? What were you thinking? Why would you decide that that's going to be a thing? What do you do with that after this challenge?
It was interesting listening to Jeff's podcast. He talked about his vision for this, or their vision for the big geckos, and getting the art department to actually make it, and everything that went into the involvement. And I guess the biggest complication is they didn't realize they were going to be hanging from hooks on that last ramp, and so they thought that it wouldn't be able to stay intact for that, but luckily it did. But man, this was an ambitious challenge and it looked pretty dang hard.
It looked hard. Like, what are they gonna do with these geckos after this challenge? Like, if I made a 500-pound gecko, this gecko is making an appearance in every challenge we do. I don't know. I don't care. Like, that's crazy. Insane. But we get going. We get the and to nobody's surprise, Nami is out front killing this thing. They are killing the challenge with the gecko. They were the first person to get the gecko over the wall. They're the first gecko to get it through the tunnel. The first to get it up the ramp and clipped on to Star from the package. Sika was struggling. Yanu was struggling. And finally, Sika got their thing unclipped, or not unclipped, but over the wall. They figured it out. Yanu was trying to just pull the head. Like, Tiffany was at the head and she was just trying to pull it. And I was like, Jeff was like, you won't be able to pull it just by the head. You got to get under the body. You got to get under the body. And it was like, they was just struggling. All of them were struggling. Finally, Sika got it. Yanu finally got it eventually. But they were like, you're not out of it. You're not out of it. You just get it up there. So they finally get it up there. By the time Yanu gets theirs up there, Nami is almost done with their puzzle. Sika is having some issues, some trouble. They're not too far ahead. And they kind of following, trying to figure it out. And Yanu gets up there, and Jelinski and Jenny are the ones in charge of the puzzle. This frustrated me a little bit, not even gonna lie. Jenny is trying her best with this puzzle. She is like trying to get pieces and she's putting pieces together. And Jelinski's just handed her pieces. Jess. Yeah, no, well, I call her Jenny. Jess. I'm sorry.
Jess. I was like, which one's Jenny?
Oh, there is no Jenny. Jess. Jess. Jess was trying really hard to get the puzzle pieces together. Jess is grabbing pieces. She's trying to put it together. Jelinski's just handing her pieces, not knowing if they're the right pieces or the wrong pieces. He's just handing her pieces. And she's like, what? Like, she's just looking at him like, this is not even what I need. What are you? I just wanted to like, he's useless. Ooh.
Sit down. Sit down on your hands.
Please, it's so useless. We're going to go back and talk more about Jelinski because we've missed some stuff that we will talk about. But we're going to go back. But he was so useless in this puzzle. I was just like, bruh. And at this point, we just like, dude, I don't know about y'all. I was just like, dude, why are you here? What was your purpose for coming out? You should have sit at the couch like me because I'm more used to sitting at the couch than you sit. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. But this round just replayed out like the last round, like last game. Nami in first place, Sigga came in second, and Yanu just losing.
Yeah, they did. And we will definitely talk about what goes on with Yanu, but we sure did miss a lot.
We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back and talk about it.
Blame me trying to tweet at Soda. I got the tweet out. But first, before we talk about the adventure, I do want to talk about some of the dynamics that we get on Sigga. So we see Jim and Mariah, they're walking off together and talking, and they're talking about how they have a good vibe with each other, and they also really like Maria. Meanwhile, we see Maria talking to Tim, and they're both talking about being parents, and they're kind of bonding over that. But Maria is like, well, I don't want to be the mom out here.
Right.
Like, I'm a mom, but I don't want to be the mom here. And then we get kind of all of the girls connecting and talking. And they're all talking about how, well, earlier we see everybody's kind of liking Ben. He's like the vibes guy of the tribe. But the three women get together and they decide we're going to work together, but we need to have another person on board with us. And they all agree that they like Charlie. They feel like Charlie is probably somebody that they can kind of direct a little bit more. And we do see a conversation with Charlie and was it Maria? I don't remember who it was. But they talked to him about getting on board with the women. Maria has the brilliant idea of them being Charlie's angels, which I was like, that's too perfect. How can you not call your alliance that? But I think all of the time the women spent together was noticed. Was noticed by one Tim. Tim, who has a wife and who has a grandmother. So he knows what women are like, and he knows that they always, every time, take out the men in Survivor, because that's how it goes, right? Don't we always have a top 9 of women on Survivor? It's definitely not a bunch of women being picked off pre-merge, is it?
I mean, I don't know what parallel universe of Survivor that he is watching, because it's usually not that way. It's never, we don't see a whole group of women, just a whole group of men leaving pre-jury.
Tim saw 2 seasons. He saw Micronesia and he saw One World. And he's like, that's Survivor. The 2 seasons I watched. Women stick together. So he talks to the guys and he's like, we got to stick together. We got to stick together because we don't want to be picked off. And they all seem to agree. I'm hoping they don't actually agree. And Tim, I'm sure you're a great person.
Sure.
But you're making it hard for me to root for you.
Absolutely. Because you make comments like that, and I'm just like, as the woman who's watched Survivor, where the women always go off preseason, it's kind of, I mean, post-merge, well, pre-merge, we always see the women because we always want a stronger tribe. So I'm just like, Tim, bruh, you know I like to root for everybody black, but you are making it very hard for me to root for you right now, sir. So get it together.
I'll be honest, Lana. I think once one man has left this game, I think that frees up the other tribes to be like, okay, well, we don't have to focus on physical male strength.
Absolutely.
We don't have to. So have to do that. I'm excited for how this season might go.
I love the way I love a good setup for the season. I love a good bar being raised for the season. So, but we do need to talk about the journey, because there was a journey. We also skipped past that because we were just so excited to get to the challenge. But the journey happened. Everybody sees the boat coming up to, we see the boat coming, and we're like, who's going to go on the journey? So when the Yanu, when the Yanu boat comes, they're like, one person was like, hey, if it's a challenge, I want to go. Me. Jelinski was like, if it's a journey, I want to go. And they're like, oh, okay. He's like, yep, I want to go. I just want to go. So he goes. So they're like, all right. Everybody else does like rock, paper, scissors, or they was trying to figure out how to
die.
The die happens. So the die happens, and Tevin goes for Nami, and then the rock, paper, scissors happen, and Maria goes for Siga. And so they go on the journey. They get off the boat, introduce themselves. They're all like, hey, nice to meet you. Da, da, da. Go find out what the game is. They're going to play a game of chance, I guess. It's like, it's two truths and a lie, I think, or two lies and a truth.
What's it called? Torch, vote, skull?
Torch, vote, skull. And they had to mix the cards up, and each of them picked a card. And whoever picks the torch card has to now decide who has the vote card or who has the skull card. Yeah. And if they pick the person who has the vote card, they get an extra vote. And the person who has the vote card gets an extra vote. And if they pick the person with the skull card, they lose their vote. And so we pick the cards. Maria has the torch card.
Yep, she has to show it.
She shows got a torch card. And so now it's up to Tevin and Jelinski to try to convince her that they have the vote card, so they won't lose their vote. And so Tevin looks at his card. He's like, period. I got the vote card. So all I got to do is tell the truth and just convince them to tell the truth. And Jelinski has the skull card, of course. And he's like, okay, now I got to lie. But I got this. I can do this. I just got to lie to her and tell her I got the vote card. So she's like, so who has the vote card?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I have the vote card. So you should definitely pick me because I have the vote card. And yeah, we don't want to lose our votes. What are you talking about? I have the vote card.
I have the vote card. I don't know what you mean and why Maria, he is lying to you. So if you don't want to lose your vote, you will pick me because I have the vote card.
No, I have the vote card. And then Maria becomes mother.
Look here. Whichever one, if you are lying to me, Tevin, or if you are lying to me, Jelinski, I have no choice but to go back to my tribe and let them know that you are a liar and you have caused us to vote. And so if you do make it to merge, I'm just saying. So you take that information, do what you will. So I will ask you again, who has the vote card?
Yeah, I can't lie. I have the skull, so don't pick me. Don't pick me.
What? Like, what? What? I was like, you ain't even gonna fight. You ain't even gonna. You had one job. One job is to convince this woman that you had the vote card.
Okay, here's what I have to say, and this might be unpopular, but I can kind of relate to Jelinski. Anytime I play a game like Mafia or Secret Age, whatever, I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to have to be the person that lies. I like just being able to tell the truth and be a good detective. That's my favorite thing to do. But when I have to lie, I'm like, crap, I don't want to do it. So I could tell he was not comfortable in this spot, and he was given basically an ultimatum. He was faced with the choice: do I keep lying? Do I burn potential bridges down the road and keep my vote? Or do I just know that I have an alliance? We didn't talk about it, but there was a 4-person alliance formed back at his group. It was Jelinski, it was Q, it was Tiffany, it was Kenzie. I'm like, we have the majority. We still have a 3-2 majority. I'm okay if I just let this go, lose my vote, and have goodwill with these people. But the problem is you don't go back and tell your team that. You go back and tell your team, yeah, I tried, but I lost, unfortunately. You don't say, I folded. I caved. I caved because I wanted them to have extra votes. No. Whose team are you playing for?
Right. He should. I'm like, if you go cave, you go back and be like, man, it was a game of chance, and I picked the wrong card. I just picked the wrong card, and it was nothing I could do. It was literally pick a card, and I lost my vote.
I have to be honest. I caved. I caved so hard. Mother scared me.
Mother scared me. She pointed her mother finger at me.
Her mother finger.
Mother finger. I was just like, this man, you are just you worse than than Kennedy. Like my niece. Like she would at least fight harder to not get in trouble than you fought. Like, Kennedy, did you throw that down? No, ma'am. Kennedy, did you throw that down? No, ma'am. Kennedy, did you throw that down? No. And like, Kennedy, I saw you throw it down. Okay, I'm sorry. And she give up a fight like 3 times. Like, this boy was like, all right, I can't lie. She said one time, did you do it? Okay, I can't lie. I did it. I was just like, oh. Jelinski. But like you said, even if you did give up like that, you don't go back and tell your team that. You make it look like they threaten you with to the inch of your life to take that away from you. Like, or something. Just it was just a game of chance. I spent the wheel and I got a no vote.
Right. I wonder if this is going to be like a consistent game or if they're going to switch it up.
I think they will switch it up like they did. Like, I think it's going to be different games like they did last
But season. This could work out so many different ways each time. Like, I would love to see it a different week where like people are just going so like hard with their lie, especially if Yanu is like, they're all like, we would have lied. We would have kept lying. I would like to see that.
I would like to see that too. Look, I would like to see it.
Monique.
I would like to see it. But yeah, so then everybody goes back. We do have Tiffany and Kenzie at Yanu going out looking for idols. And they go out and they look for some idols, and Tiffany finds something.
They did Banu so dirty in this too, because they were setting up this whole thing about him looking for an idol and how it's so important for him, and he's determined to go find an idol. Smash cut to Tiffany. Oh, look, I found something.
I don't care who it is. It's mine. I got it. And she took off. And she was like, I found something. And she goes and she grabs it. She reads it. She was like, okay, you have to go.
We gotta go back.
We gotta go back. So she runs back. And she opens it, finds it back, and opens it again. And it's a box. And she finds the box, but it's got a lock on it. And she sees the note. So she pulls the note and she was like, it's a beware advantage. And so she's like,
or beware, as she says. She said it like just slightly odd. Beware instead of beware.
Yeah, beware.
It's a beware advantage.
She finds the beware advantage. She has to get a key to unlock this box, but the key won't happen. She can't find anything unless they lose the immunity challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And if they lose immunity, she has to come back to the same spot and get further instructions to how to open this box.
Yeah, and I saw people on Twitter like, what? This doesn't make sense. So your punishment is you lose your vote until you lose immunity challenge. Then you can potentially earn it back. You don't need your vote if you're winning immunities. And I'm like, okay, you all are missing the point. Like, the point isn't that they can't vote on episodes where they don't go to tribal. Sure. The point is they can't go look for the idol days in advance, long before they need it. Right. They only have a finite amount of time to find it in between losing the challenge and going to tribal. So I think it's supposed to put pressure on them when it's most needed. And that's the whole point of this twist.
Absolutely. It's giving me almost like how Sabaya had to find that candle and then was like, how do I melt this down in time for tribal or whatever? But she just took it to tribal and melted it in front of everybody. But that was something else. But
I like it. I think it's going to keep it relevant on episodes where they're having to go to tribal council. That's when we're going to see people from different tribes feel the pressure to quickly get their idol. So I really like this twist, actually.
I enjoyed it. I wasn't mad at it. Because it did have that sense of urgency of finding, what she needed. And then when she came after they lost their immunity, she came back and she went back to the box, found a paper. It's not the key. And she was like, oh my God, it's not the key. But now she has to decode this thing. And she's like, oh, now I got to decode it. Oh my gosh. Oh no. And so Kenzie's like, okay, girl, go do it as quickly as you can or whatever. So Kenzie's gone. And she's like, oh,
she's like, this is the THE. That means this is an E.
But baby, when I tell you I was so proud of her because she did it so fast.
She was so good.
She was so good at this. I was like, yes, Tiffany. She scrolled that thing and she was like, okay, to the peak is tied to a rock at the point. Where's the point? She went to the beach, was like, that looks like a point. She runs over and she's flipping over a rock. She's flipping over a rock. She finally flips over the last rock and was like, yes, here it is. She unties the key, boogies back to where she had the box, bring the box, open it. It's this little friendship bracelet of an immunity idol. I was like,
and Kenzie comes up. She's like, you better hurry up. She's like, I found it.
Oh, you got it already?
But also, when she was over there by that rock, I was getting nervous because I was having flashbacks to old buddy falling off.
Oh.
I was like, that's where it happened.
Oh, Jesus, no. No, not that. Look, at least they said at the base, not on the point, because when she would start climbing, I'm like, no, girl, get off of that rock. But I was so happy to see that Tiffany was the first person to find an immunity out of this season.
Yeah.
Hey, first of all, we don't get a lot of women finding it first, period. And then we got this black woman who I was like, yes, clean.
2 seasons in a row where we have black women finding idols early.
She finds it first. I was like, work. I love that for her. So Tiffany has an idol, and only person that knows about it is Kenzie, that she has it. But Q is aware that she has a beware advantage or a beware something.
I think she tells him about the idol, doesn't she? Yeah. Oh, no. You're right. She told him about the beware part,
Right.
because she was letting him know that she'd lost her vote.
Right. Right.
And she said, "Don't tell Jelinsky." And he's like, "I'm not telling him anything." And that was the first sign. That was the first sign. I love Q.
Okay, first of all, I do too. I love Q. I think Q gave us the first sign after Jelinsky quit the thing. He was like, "I don't quit, man.
Which,
Quitters, I
don't know if you've seen, but Jelinsky in his interviews is saying Q is the one who suggested quitting first, and Q is responding to tweets, and he says lies, lies. So the way that I gather it is, it sounds like Q asked Jelinsky, "Are you thinking about quitting the challenge?" And Jelinsky is saying, "Oh, I didn't even think about quitting the challenge until he asked that." And so that's what gave us permission to quit. And I'm like, him asking you if you're thinking about quitting the challenge isn't saying, "Hey, we should quit the challenge." So
yeah, no, I'm not buying that. Sorry, Jelinsky, you quit that challenge. I'm sorry. Even if somebody was like, "Are you thinking about quitting?" Because that could be a question, because they see him like stopping and like wait,
right.
man, you thinking about quitting? No, then he goes like, "No, I wasn't, but now I am. So thank you." No,
oh, you think we should quit? Okay, yeah,
no,
let's do it.
no, bro, you still quit. I'm sorry, Jelinsky. You quit that challenge, and you can't put that on Q. Nope. I'm not gonna let you do it. But I think that was the first moment we saw Q like, I can't have nobody on my team who go quit like that easy. And so then in this moment, we see them talking, and after the immunity, you saw Q just like this. Wait, we got the whole folding thing happening, and he's already folded, and he ain't got no vote. And then at the challenge, he was useless at that puzzle. I think Q was like, "Man, 3 strikes, this bro's out. I can't work with nobody who is not going to help the team do nothing." Like, he quitting on at the sweat thing, he quitting at the journey. He keeps saying he can do all these things, and he ain't doing nothing. Right. So Q like, I ain't telling him nothing. I ain't. He wasn't feeling him. I was like, "Ooh."
True. I do want to bring up Jess, because we haven't talked about her much at all, but there is stuff that happened throughout the episode. We saw her having conversations like with Kenzie, and I guess she told Kenzie she feels good about her, but Kenzie just was never really feeling the spark, or like that she could fully trust Jess. And we saw a conversation with Tiffany. Tiffany felt the same way. It just felt like Jess was not finding her footing. Right. She talked about how she wasn't able to sleep and she isn't thinking clearly. Were you getting Emily Flippin vibes? I was getting Emily, and I hope I like Jess, and I want to see her do well in this show. But then, like, after the immunity challenge, we see everybody go off to talk, and Tiffany makes it pretty clear at the well that she doesn't want any of the 4 of them, which is Q, Kenzie, Tiffany, and Banu, to go, which leaves just Jelinsky and Jess. And Tiffany wants it to be Jess. Kenzie wants it to be Jess. Cut back to Jess and Jelinsky under the shelter. And this was so funny to me. I don't like it. It probably was only funny to me. But Jess is talking to Jelinsky, and she's like, "Why wouldn't you want to go out there and talk to them? Like, aren't you worried that?" And he's like, "No, I know it's probably between you and me." And Jess goes, "Wait, you think it's between me?" And I'm like, "Jess, girl, where have you been? You don't know?" And he's like, "Oh, I just assume based on us losing the puzzle." But when she said that, I thought she was like speaking to, like, when she first was like, "Why aren't you out there talking to people?" I was like, "Why are you saying that to the other person that it's between?" But I didn't know she didn't know. She didn't know. I don't know, but it was pretty funny. We do see, this is where Q starts talking, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't have Jelinsky around. I can't. Not somebody who's going to keep quitting. Nope." And so he starts talking to people. We see him talk to Jess. She's on board, clearly.
Yep, absolutely.
he talks to Banu about it, but then he talks to the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And the girls are pushing back on it.
Yeah.
And I found this really weird because usually, like, we see other tribes where it's like women looking out for the women and men looking out for the men. It's the opposite here. It's
Mm-hmm.
the men are trying to save Jess and the women are trying to save Jelinsky.
Yeah. It's weird. It was interesting. It was weird. But I understand why everybody is doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Tiffany and Kenzie's mind, I think it's like Jess is clearly the weaker person on the tribe. So they say.
Yeah.
And Jelinsky could at least help us win challenges. He definitely could be stronger and, help us get to the win. We can't win. I don't think we'll win with just Jess and not Jelinsky. And so I think that's what they're saying. But Hugh is like, but he go quit on everything. And it doesn't matter how strong he is. If he's not giving his 100% when we're doing things, it doesn't matter how strong he is. If he's not good at anything, he's not good at the puzzles. We don't know what other challenges are coming up. And we don't know if he's going to be good at any of these things. So why do we keep somebody around like that? So I understand what everybody's point was being made and why they were saying what they were saying. Right. But it's definitely an interesting dynamic. We haven't had this dynamic on Survivor in a minute.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think we're basically at tribal at this point, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think we kind of get to tribal, and beautiful tribal set, by the way. I was like, oh, they just stepped up.
Yeah, I did pay attention to that part. Immunity idols, no. Tribal, yes.
Yes. I was like, oh, look at them. This is giving me very much Australian Survivor vibes with this tribal. I was like, work. Okay, I see y'all. The prop committee was like, y'all not finna tell us we ain't doing our job, period. It was very pretty. But they go in tribal, dip their torches to make fire. And this conversation was very interesting, I will say, because Jeff is doing what Jeff do and ask him about, tribe dynamics, how they're, surviving, how they're coping at the camps and, basic stuff that we always get in tribals. And Jess is talking and Jess is like, Jeff, I ain't been sleeping. I'm tired. I ain't been sleeping since we got here. I can't. He was like, you haven't slept because you can't sleep or you just are uncomfortable. He was like, she's like, I just can't sleep. I would lay down and I can't go to sleep. I'm just woken. And she kind of loses her train of thought.
She does.
The miss, she's like, I don't even know what I'm saying, Jeff.
Yes, and like, Q's face in the background is he's wanting her to stay. Yes. And he needs her to fight for herself. But it shows him right behind her as she's like losing her train of thought and being so open about like, I don't know what I'm saying right now. He just goes, it's just like such exasperation. He's like, crap, you had one job.
Right, fight, girl, fight. Like, he literally was like, I just wish you would fight. And she's just like, and you know what? In that moment, I was like, oh, I feel for her. I feel for Jess in this moment because I've been there. I've been exhausted and my insomnia would kick in and I wouldn't sleep for a day or two. And I'm like trying to function throughout the rest of that day. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck is, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know what I'm doing. And she's just like, trying to, like you say, fight for her life at a tribal council, and her brain is like mush. I felt for her. I was like, okay, girl, get it together. Oh, we'll talk about something else in a minute, but go ahead.
Yeah. But I do want to talk about, Lily just leaned up right on my back. Hi, girl. I do want to talk about when Jeff is asking Jelinsky about the task that they had to do with the sweat, and he was like, Q and I, we will never quit anything. And Jeff's like, wait a second, because Q just said here that you all quit the challenge. He's like, well, we would go all day is what I meant. Like if we had every hour in the day, we would not stop. And he's like, why are you having such a hard time just admitting that you quit? And Jelinski's like, I see your point, Jeff. We quit.
This was after all. Okay, y'all. This man literally said at the challenge that he thought, he was like, several means 7. We should have had 7 hours to do this challenge. We should have 7 hours to do the challenge because both the singer and the Yanu both had to admit that they didn't beat their savvy or sweat challenge, by the way. And so Ben was like, we you know what, Jeff, sometimes you rock out and then sometimes you get rocked. We got rocked on the savvy challenge. They got rocked. He's like, we got rocked. And so then he asked the Yanu and Jelinski.
Did you get rocked?
He was like, did y'all get rocked? He was like, well, Jeff, I feel like he pretty much said we were led astray almost. He was like, because I thought several meant 7. And everybody on all the tribes looked at him like, what?
What?
What? Like, I mean, several is in the name. 7 is in the name of several. And I think it was it Soda?
Soda, yeah.
She was like, no, several means
more than a few.
More than a few, more than a couple, like more than 2. He was like, several means more than a few.
And like, I'm so glad this came up because when he first said that, I was like, no, that's wrong. What the? That's wrong, right? That's wrong, right? That's wrong, right?
Not you starting to question yourself.
Is it wrong? Is that right? Is that what it meant the whole time? And my 39-year-old self is just learning. It's wrong, right? It's wrong.
Yes, David, it's wrong.
It's wrong. And I'm glad because he was gaslighting me.
He tried to gaslight you into believing you were wrong your whole life. Like I thought I knew. Did I know? Was it wrong?
I know, right?
Is it wrong being 7? This whole time? No.
But as soon as everybody else was like, yep, I knew it the whole time. I had no doubts. Several does not mean 7.
Several totally does not mean 7.
Didn't fall for it. Jelinski.
Jelinski tried to get you.
I got Jelinski.
Got Jelinski.
Oh, speaking of, I did love the part after they like were doing the sweat where he's like just laying in the mud with his face is covered in mud and he just looks at the camera and goes like he just makes a face. I'm like, oh, you just pulled a Jim Halpert from The Office. Jelinski's a good character. Say what you want. He's like kind of a train wreck, but I was so entertained by this guy.
I will say he is the most entertaining first boot that we've had in a minute.
Oh yeah.
He's very much, and yeah, spoiler. He got we jump back to tribal, but yeah, he got out. He got Jelinski because
he didn't make it several tribal councils.
Not several anything, not even 7. He just
nope.
It was, but even with that, we have Banu having Jeff asking Banu about how he plans to vote. What is he thinking? And Banu goes on and on, about how he feels about the tribe dynamics, how excited he's everybody to be here. He loves everybody. Everybody's great. He said, but sometimes somebody's going to have to go. And, when you don't perform well, and Jeff was like, he made something mention and it literally pointed at Jelinski was going to get his vote.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, so are you saying Jelinski? And Banu said, So it's time to vote. And Zielinski, for the first time, was like, "What? Me?" I was like,
I did get nervous though, because there were a few times where like people were giving reasons on why they were going to vote that way they were.
mm-hmm.
And one person, I can't remember if it was Q or Banu, they said, I need to have people on the tribe that are able to think clearly and know what they're trying to say. I'm like, oh no, Jess. And then right after, Tiffany's like, well, I want to keep the tribe physically strong so we don't have to come here. And I'm like, oh no,
Yep.
Jess. So I was not certain for how this was going to go.
I wasn't certain either. I was like, it can go either way. And I would be like, ooh, both of them would make sense. But it ended up being Zielinski.
Unanimously.
And I was like,
he didn't have a vote.
And I was like, well, Julie, there we go. So Zielinski's out.
Mm-hmm.
Quick draft update, David.
Yes. So Lana, Logan, and I drafted 6 people each. So really, we're only down one person. So that means 2 of us have 6 people. 1 of us has 5 people. Unfortunately, Lana did not pick Zielinski. She got stuck with him because he was the leftover pick. And that means Lana is down to 5 people. And Logan and I both have our full teams intact. And guess what? You were going to lose either way because Jess is also on your team.
My God, man. Oh, well, Julie, let's just, I don't know. Let's hope somebody not just goes home next week.
Yep.
And not the rest of my team.
Although she gets yelled at by Banu in the next episode.
Apparently she couldn't hold up the puzzle. Apparently, I don't know, but that's it, y'all. We've done it. We talked about all 2 hours of Survivor. Oh no! Before we do, because it was one thing, and I wanted to make wait. Ooh. Oh no! I made mention to say it, and I forgot it.
Oh no!
I thought.
Oh
man!
I thought it was the Tim thing, but
no, I can't remember. Oh well, I can't remember. But that's all right. If it'll come to me, I'll write it down and we'll talk about it next week. But that's it. That's all. We did it. We appreciate you sticking around with us, and we'll be back next week to talk about episode 2 of Survivor. We probably different panel. Maybe more people will join us next time, but we'll be here. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the main channel of the Cup Pod. Subscribe to the Cup ESC. We appreciate you. Become a member on the main channel. $5 a month. Get some exclusive content. Follow us on all of our socials at the Cup Pod on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, because we have some funny moments and we put them up there. So go check that out. You can follow David and I if you want to, because why not? We're cute. We're cute, cool people. Sure. And get your cup merch at Lana G's Creations at Etsy.com. The link will be in the description below. And I think that's it. So cheers.
Cheers.
We
shredded that podcast. We rocked it. Yeah.
We didn't get rocked.
No.